say enough is enough. We're not going to subsidize you any longer because that's what we're doing. We're subsidizing the entire planet.
I'm sorry.
And at one time, that might have been fine, but not anymore because now we're suffering from it because these aren't just podunk countries anymore. They're competitors.
Yeah.
And you don't subsidize your competitor. It's that simple.
Yeah, it's the economic version of Neville Chamberlain out there.
Yeah.
Well, when I was given the analogy of Japan just before World War II, the interesting thing was that the West was in a struggle with the Depression at that time economically, and yet the Pacific was booming economically, and Japan wanted to take more advantage of that and keep us out. So in that case, the tables were kind of flipped. We're not in the same position. Now we're in a trade war with a Pacific-based rival, and we're in the strong economic position, and they're in there devaluing their currency.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I semi-related, because we're talking about the economy, Trump whining about the Fed, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. It's not that we need the rates lowered now. It's that they should have never been raised, or at least not raised as much as they were in the first place. So yes, the Fed needs to reverse their previous bad decision and cut it.
Yeah, and I think Jay Powell's going to do that, don't you? I think he's going to come around.
I hope so.
He's not a democratically elected figure, you know what I mean? He doesn't respond to the public concerns. He responds to the bankers' concerns.
Right. But the bankers at this point have got to be saying the only safe place in the world is the United States of America to be doing business.
That's true.
Maybe we better keep this economy going because if our economy gets strong enough, the world's going to ride our coattails. It's that simple. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, even China's dying right now.
In the first place. And again, the rest of the world, Europe, China, Russia, they have a downturn. They are down. They may even be in a recession. And you've got the U.S. liberals, of course, trying to talk us into one. So we have to be careful not to let the rest of the world, because it is, whether we like it or not, quite a bit of global economy. We got to be careful that we don't let them drag us down into a slowdown or a recession.
Yep.
So
good points,
we
Joe.
need to cut the rates.
Yep.
All right, good points.
Good point. All right. Thanks, Joe, for the call, as always.
Take care, my friends. I love you.
See ya.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, that's what's got to happen. I'm on board with, nobody likes tariffs.
No.
But you know what? Now is the time. It's long overdue. Let's get it done. And let's buckle down. And when Trump said earlier, was it yesterday he said it? He told the American companies.
Yesterday.
Let's get away from China. Come up with
No,
options.
no, he didn't say let's get away. He said, I hereby order.
Okay.
He may have authority to do that under an Emergency Economic Act of 1976, but he has to first declare an economic incident, okay? And then Congress could override it in, I think, 45 days.
I think it's a Trumpism, though, right? That's
I think really it is.
It's a Trumpism. He's just saying but he's not really ordering people to. But I can tell you this already. Yeah. I work in the auto industry, right? As do you. My company is already pulling back from China. Our customers, the big three, are pulling. They're now coming back and saying, we don't want to source China. Make sure you get us some additional options for coming back to North America or the U.S. completely.
I don't know if
they're worried about it. They know what's coming.
I don't know if people understand this or not, but I worked for a company just before the company I work for, and a couple jobs before that, large international auto supplier. And we were sending people over to open a plant in China. And we were showing them how we do it here. And then we were actually doing it better with better technology and more infusion of capital in that plant than we were here, where we were trying to cut corners and do it. You know, we're doing a good job, but while we looked at the equipment they got, and I said, how come they get more equipment and more space to do it in? Well, because the real estate's less expensive to lease, so they could do it in a bigger factory.
Right.
But the point is we're talking about the intellectual theft, right? And transfer. It's not just patents. It's the fact that we're going over there and we're training people who don't know how to do it the way we do it, and then they're going to do it. And you got to be a racist to think they can't learn from that and carry on and grow it.
Which is what they do. They require you that they own half the company when you're in China.
Yep.
So they learn, they steal, they get it all, and then they have another company set up that does the same thing.
Exactly.
They've learned it, they've copied it, and guess who's going out of business? The 50-50 partnership will die because they now have 100% government-owned business over there that is now competing against you cheaper.
And that's war by other means.
It's war by other means. Exactly right. Let's take a call from Tom in Detroit. Tom, welcome to the show.
Hi. I want to say, if you're going down the road the wrong way, you got to, you're on the wrong road. You got to kind of figure out where it is you went wrong. And I'm thinking back to, I was listening back to talk radio when Clinton was in, and we were all going crazy because he signed something to give China most favored trading status with the U.S. And he also signed a GATT and NAFTA. And we're all going, wait a minute, I thought he was supposed to be president of this country, And the auto was already hurting from the Japanese when, they came in, and at first they were a big joke back, in the early 60s. And then all of a sudden their products, really became competitors.
That's because we sent them Demmer. Now, that's part of our problem is we sent them Demmer, and he taught them how to do it right, and they were listening.
Right.
Well, there's a whole system, and when I was working as a machinist back then, and we'd get a blueprint, and we'd do the lathe work or the grinding work or the mill work. Each guy had his own specialty off the blueprint. What they did was they changed that. We all had our trade secrets. Okay, guys in the shop, we'd share the trade secrets. Then they made every blueprint had a specific order how everything had to be done, and it couldn't be deviated from in order to get the special status. And then all they had to do was take that whole system and ship it to any place in the world, and they could train people to anybody to do your job.
We shot ourselves in the foot. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And we've paid the price for the last 30 years over it.
Yeah.
Right? That's simple. Yeah, great point. Great point, Tom.
There was one other thing about the interest rates. The longer interest rates are low, the bigger shock it's going to be if they ever do raise them up. Back in the Great Depression, that was caused by the huge market crash was caused by a sudden rise in interest rates, caused a landslide of margin calls. All the people were trading on leverage because of the low interest rates, and basically the insiders bought the whole thing up for pennies on the dollar. So, I get a little. I start hearing about this. Oh, we need low interest rates. We need low interest rates. I think there's a red flag there too that has to be watched.
Right. Well, good point. Thanks, Tom.
Building pressure in.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Tom. As always. Bye.
You bet.
So, let's. How much time we got there, Derek? Just a minute. 1 minute. So not enough.
Yeah, I don't trust that clock. Let me tell you, I don't trust that clock. Let's see. Is it 1 minute or is it 3 minutes?
Yeah. Well. Here's what I'm going to say. We're going to come back because there's some more tariff stuff I want to talk about when we come back from the break. But the point is, Trump and his tariffs, I think it's the right time.
Yeah.
People look. Even Joe was
anti-tariff,
against tariffs, right?
Yep.
But my point to other people is, if you hate tariffs so much, why would you allow the rest of the world to tariff us and do nothing about it? You have to fight back on whatever. And economics is the biggest weapon of war of today, and that's what it comes down to. Forget the tanks, forget the missiles. China can blow us away? I don't think so.
You're worried about the Russians influencing the American election? China right now is influencing the next presidential election. See, now during World War II, to get back to my analogy, we had national unity. We all accepted sacrifices in order to defeat that enemy. Now we're not ready to do that with China.
Yeah, hold that thought, because that's a good tune. As soon as we get back from the other side of the break, we're going to pick up on that. So we'll see all of you on the other side.
headed somewhere. How do they keep up on the latest news and information? They listen to Wham, just like you. If you have a product or business to advertise, your message can reach these listeners wherever they are. People tune to Wham Radio for the latest issues, discussed by hosts like Tharon X, Steve Gruber, and Joe Pags. Call 734-971-1600 today and advertise with Wham Radio, 1600 AM, 92.7 FM. You'd be insane to be anyplace else.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. A banquet this evening will officially kick off this year's G7 summit in France.
As soon as he touched down in Biarritz, he went to have lunch with the French President Emmanuel Macron. And despite the fact that there have been some tensions, including Macron's decision to put a digital services tax on many American high-tech companies, which the president may retaliate for by putting a tariff on French wine, President Trump said the relationship is still strong.
Fox's John Roberts. U.S. trade with China is expected to be discussed. One Democrat who wants the president's job outlined his plan for dealing with Beijing.
We've got to outcompete China. There's no way to just do this through trade and tariffs and all this nonsense. You've got to outcompete them. And so I have a plan on how do we build electric vehicles? How do we build batteries? I have a chief manufacturing officer that I'm going to appoint that will drive this for us.
Ohio Representative Tim Ryan on Fox. America is listening to Fox News.
When you need a way to recognize the best, you need Stadium Trophy. From stadium plaques and medals to name badges and everything in between, Stadium Trophy will make your award a memorable keepsake. Stadium Trophy knows the value of showing appreciation. A pat on the back can go a long way, but a tangible gift to show your gratitude will inspire your team to greatness and create memories that will last a lifetime. Since 1977, Stadium Trophy has been a family-owned company producing elegant and fun awards. Clients include the University of Michigan and Eastern Michigan University, nonprofits, schools, corporations, and parents. Stadium Trophy prides themselves on providing top-quality products and friendly, helpful service. Stadium Trophy, Packard Road, Ypsilanti. Call them today to see what Stadium Trophy can create for you. 734-487-3366. That's 734-487-3366 or stadiumtrophy.com.
Your bridge to recovery and wellness is WellBridge. WellBridge is redefining the rehabilitation and nursing care experience with the most amazing care facilities you've ever seen. All WellBridge locations offer a resort-like atmosphere, and their driving goal is to provide each guest with an epic experience. Here's former patient Evelyn Danielson from Brighton.
It was excellent. It wasn't only just the physical part of it, doing your exercises with them. It was the RNs, even down to the kitchen people that came in and said, "What can we fix you? What do you like? We'll try to do it for you." And everything with a smile I couldn't get over. I would heartily recommend WellBridge.
For rehabilitation and nursing care, ask for something epic. Ask for WellBridge. In Brighton, Fenton, Novi, and Pinckney. Now looking for talented nurses and certified nurse assistants to join their growing team, WellBridge invites everyone to learn more about them at thewellbridgegroup.com. WellBridge, your bridge to recovery and wellness starts here.
Lady, hear me tonight, 'cause my feeling is just so right as we dance by the moonlight. Can't you see you're my delight? Lady, I just feel like I won't get you out of my mind. I feel love for
And welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to Catch Our Drift in studio with Hipsy Ed Bonderenka.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Let's take care of a little business before we get back into the meat of the show. AAA Service Network, AAA, that's AAAServiceNetwork.com. Whether it's heating, cooling,
you get
plumbing,
that furnace check
appliances,
now.
Yeah.
Use the
that time of
coupon.
year, right? There's coupons in the current. Go to COURANTonline.com. On the back page, you'll see the AAA Service Network ad. Or you can call Brighton, 810 810-226-0047. That's 810-226-0047. But they have offices in South Lyon, Ann Arbor, Whitmore Lake, and Brighton.
Tell them we sent you. That's very important.
Yeah.
Tell them we sent you. We get credit for that, you know?
Yep. Tell them you saw it in the Current, or tell them you heard it here on The Drift. Whatever you need to tell them. Water softener installation, you can get $300 off. They now use half the salt of the older ones. That's important.
Yes,
right?
for the environment.